my live feed because it's going down. It's going down, y'all. We talking about this alleged relationship that Larry Sinclair said that he had with Barack Obama. That's what we talking about. And again, I'm definitely not saying that it's true. What I am saying is that it bears a looking into. It bears a looking into because, first of all, we're not going to allow anyone, news reporter, entertainment, athlete, whoever or otherwise, to throw dirt on our brother's name and the news eat it up and feed it back to the public because certain news media has a gripe with the fact that Barack Obama of so much intelligence just happened to be born into brown skin. So we're not going to allow that to happen. We're not going to allow people just to spew lies out their mouths because they dislike the brother. Okay, let's see here. Can you see me, Alan? Can you see me good? I want to make sure that y'all can see me. So if somebody can chime in and say that they can see me and that you can hear me very well because I'm watching the ticker. All right. So I just can't hear Alan. I don't know what's going on. I can't hear Alan. And but you are on my screen. And so back to the point. I'm not one of these people out here that's trying to defend. hey, what is that, Ricardo Barrera? I'm not one out here trying to defend whether or not Barack Obama engaged in this behavior. No, that's not what I'm doing. So don't mistake me. What I am defending is the integrity of a man or woman whom we respect, and now this person is the first so-called black person to ever become president of the United States. And now what better way can the news media try to tarnish his image except through some type of homosexuality? Why would they do that? And let me give you some insight on why I think they would do that. I think that the news media would do that because we living in an era of time to where sexuality is, what's the word I'm looking for? People's sexuality, you can't challenge it because then you're going to be considered misogynistic. You're going to be considered anti this and anti that, against the LGBT community and all this and that. So now the news media try to set it up to where if somebody come out in defense of Barack Obama, such as one of the politicians, and they say, hell no, that's my guy. He ain't into that. He would never do nothing like that. He would never do nothing like this. And then they would try to attack and say, so you're saying that Barack Obama is against the LGBT community? Y'all see where I'm going with this? So certain news media, such as Tucker Carlson, who always had a gripe against Barack Obama, who always expressed his gripe against Barack Obama, he's always been against him. I mean, literally, Tucker Carlson, I watched many of his shows over the years, many of them, and he never said anything good about Barack Obama. Never, not one word. It's like how Donald Trump never said one bad thing about Putin. Tucker Carlson never said one good word about Barack Obama. Not nothing. So, with that built-in type of hatred, racial hatred, if you would, because that's what it is. We got to call a spade a spade. Tucker Carlson is a racist maggot. We got to call a spade a spade. He has said he has never backed up any black person who has been killed by the police. Not one. If you could show me a show where Tucker Carlson spoke out on behalf of the victim of a police shooting, I will apologize on air. Tucker Carlson has never sided with anything black that is not of Republican bread. So, I'm not making this about race with me, because it can't be about race with me, because I'm not the one spewing the allegation. Tucker Carlson had the audacity to invite onto his new platform, where he know he got millions of viewers, he invited a very controversial figure. He invited Larry Sinclair. Larry Sinclair. Let me give y'all a little insight on Larry Sinclair, who Larry Sinclair is. To begin, Larry Sinclair is a name that until recently may have escaped your notice. His notoriety stems from a series of scandalous allegations directed at former U.S. President Barack Obama. These allegations involving alleged drug use and sexual encounter dating back to 1999 have sparked intense debate and divided opinions across the nation. This man said that he was smoking crack and having sex with Barack Obama in 1999. Y'all hear what I just said? This man said that he was smoking crack and having sex with Barack Obama in 1999. And the platform that he spoke these words at is Tucker Carlson's new platform. This man has a checkered past. I'm reading right here and say, one cannot fully comprehend Larry Sinclair's story without examining his extensive criminal history, which includes convictions for forgery, fraud, and larceny. Sinclair has also served time behind bars in the state of Arizona, a fact that looms large over the credibility of his sensational claims. Now, it's fascinating to me. It's fascinating to me, and it should be fascinating to you, and it should be appalling to you as it is appalling to me that Tucker Carlson would invite such a controversial figure. He would invite such a controversial figure on his show. So, hold on one second, y'all. I'm trying to join you right now, but I can't answer the phone because I'm on TikTok on my phone. So I can't answer you, but I just invited you again. So I just invited you again, Thomas. So I sit back and wonder, and I sit back in contemplation. And all these stories are hyperbolic, made up to damage or trash people's reputation. So why didn't Tucker Carlson talk to his friend Larry Sinclair prior to Barack Obama becoming president or leading up to Barack Obama becoming president during his presidential run? See, because the history books now have a face in it that does not look like Tucker Carlson. And now Tucker Carlson can't hide this fact from his children or grandchildren. So now when he tells of American history, his pride can't stand in the way of what his children or grandchildren are going to learn from that history book when it say, wow, that's I don't really subscribe to black and white, but for the sake of context and descriptive purposes for the people to understand, those are the words I use. I subscribe to Asiatic, which is melanated skin tone, people of melanated skin tone, or Caucasian, or European, which is people of, lighter skin or whatever. But for the sake of context and to better descriptive purposes, I use the word black. So Tucker Carlson now, it's not just Tucker Carlson, it's so many people, but I'm talking about Tucker Carlson right now, that he can't escape having to explain this history to his grandchildren and children now. Because now all of the indoctrinating that he has done with this family and what the news have done to the public about, we know that it's a racist system, a class system going on. We know that. We know that. It's classism and racism going on, and it's running rampant in America, right? And all around the world for that matter. But news reporters cannot escape the fact that if they are to tell of American history or teach of American history to their children today, they have to teach that a man who does not look like them, who does not have that lighter tone skin, what they call white today, that a man who does not have that type of so-called white skin was president. That hurt. It hurts people like the racist system. It hurts them that they can't even spew their ideology onto the public and be looked at as credible, because they would now have to include in that ideology, in that story, that President Obama wasn't a white man. That hurt them. For those who are listening who may disagree with something that I'm saying, I don't care. That's your problem, not mine. Because everyone has an opinion. And I respect your opinion and ask that you respect mine. We could disagree all day. I respectfully listen to people's opinion, even if I don't agree with them, because I respect people as human beings. So I'm not going to get into a back and forth about how you feel about a certain thing that makes you feel a certain way. I got to fix this live for you, man. Let me see how I could do this. It says your microphone is turned on. No, microphone. You got to turn on your microphone, man. You got to turn on your microphone. I think it said 49 seconds. So, again, I ask that y'all share my feed right now. Please share it out, because the things that, all right, bet, Tommy, I see you. So I ask that y'all share my feed right now. Share my Facebook. I'm on Facebook Live. I'm on YouTube. Subscribe to my YouTube page. I'm trying to get some viewership up there. so I could do some things, help some people out, and speak my mind, and allow people to come on to my stream so they can speak their mind as well. So, I'm inviting people because I like to delve into topics that affect our everyday lives. So again, today's topic is about the rumors. It's about the rumors surrounding Barack Obama. We have, for those who are just tuning in, this is what we're talking about today. The rumors surrounding Barack Obama, which involve this person, what his name? Tucker Carlson, who was fired from Fox. He did an interview with a man named Larry Sinclair recently. And Larry Sinclair made some very scandalous allegations about a relationship that he had with Barack Obama. I fixed the sound. It says, Alan, it says that you have to, the mic is turned off on your end, not my end. Because I already unmuted you. I could see you when you come on screen, but I can't hear you. And so now Carlson invites Larry Sinclair onto his show. And again, just a little bit about Larry Sinclair. This man has a checkered past. And y'all know that I have a checkered past too. So I am all for change. I believe that people can change. I don't think that there's nothing you can do in your life that is considered bad. I don't think that it is anything you could do that will cause you to stay in that place and be defined by that act that you committed or that mistake that you made. If you decide to change your life, I believe that change is possible. I believe that just because you did some in the past doesn't mean that you would do it in the present, as long as you have changed your life. I truly believe in second chances, having mercy on people. I truly believe in that. But today, we're not talking about a person who has changed his life. We're talking about someone who is up to the same shenanigans today that he's always been displaying. We're talking about Larry Sinclair, who has a checkered past. His checkered past includes an extensive criminal history, which involved convictions for forgery, fraud, and larceny. He served time behind bars in the state of Arizona, a fact that looms large over the credibility of his sensational claims that he now make about smoking crack and engaging in homosexual acts with Barack Obama in 1999. So that's Larry Sinclair. But Tucker Carlson, who was fired from Fox for whatever reason, I'm not getting into that. That'd be for another show. Tucker Carlson, yep, Sinclair did time in 3 different states. He's a career criminal to this very day. He's a career criminal to this very day, and he's always been rubbing elbows with politicians. He's always been able to wiggle his way around politicians. So that's why politicians know who he is. So Tucker Carlson thought it would be a good idea to invite Larry Sinclair to his show, so Larry Sinclair can now make sensational allegations about former President Barack Obama. Now, we understand, I personally understand, that when you're dealing with a system that's built upon white supremacy, and you have a lot of people who are indoctrinated with that white supremacist way of thinking and that ideology, I truly believe that people like that, and personally, I'm going to say that a lot of news media A lot of politicians, a lot of citizens have that racist ideology. They subscribe to it. They live by it. They live through it. They live with it. And they impose it on people. They especially impose it on people that look like them because they feel like, why ain't you agreeing with me? You white just like me. Why don't you agree? This is what we should go by. But it takes courage for a white person to not subscribe to the normacy of white supremacy that's being imposed in their community by certain politicians, certain public officials, and other citizens. It takes pride, it takes strength, and it takes courage to stand up for yourself and be the man or woman for yourself and not allow no one else to dictate how you define you. Because when a man or a woman can't think for themselves, someone else is just waiting in the wings to do the thinking for you. And so now this is why we have news media. And this is why I remember, and I know people remember this, it was all on TikTok just recently and on social media. When Donald Trump did that interview with the New York Times, and he said, and this was just a few years before he ran for president. He said, if I ever run for president, I'm running as a Republican because they are the dumbest people I know. He said, you can lie to them and they'll just believe it. And I'm not criticizing Republicans. I'm not criticizing Democrats because neither one of them really means anything to me with respects to me taking a side, because I'm not taking a side. I ride with who rides with building my community up. If it's a Republican that rides with this particular issue in my community, I support him on that issue. If it's a Democrat who is trying to build up the community over here, I support him on that issue, him or her. So I'm not taking sides. But Topher remembers seeing that interview with Trump. He said, if I run for president, I'm going to run as a Republican because they are the dumbest people around. They'll believe anything I say. You tell a lie, they're going to believe it. And that's kind of human behavior. But we take it to subhuman standards when we end up knowing that it's a lie and we still share it out. We still share out that lie to tarnish a man or woman's image, to tear down a man or woman. Barack Obama, to Black Americans, and again, I do not subscribe to that describing ourselves by Black, but just for descriptive purposes and for purposes that I'm trying to illustrate a point to the masses of people, because I subscribe to Asiatic. Asiatic means anyone of melanated skin tone. So I guess I'm going to use Asiatic. So here's the first Asiatic president of the United States. And here are all of his naysayers, all of his critics, and all of his haters. And they all made allegations about him. I'm talking about from Trump with the birther thing, Mitch McConnell, who once said that his goal is to make sure that Barack Obama does not succeed in anything that he do. That was Mitch McConnell who said that. Now, how could you say that about Barack Obama? Wasn't this person president or that person? He was everybody's president. You didn't have to disagree with him to acknowledge that that's your president. It's no different than your mother and father. You could dislike every portion of discipline that they impose upon you. but they still your mother and father. They still you must abide by them. They set the tone, they set the rules, they set the disciplinary tactics, right? They're in charge of the house, right? And you could always have that disagreement, but you must acknowledge that that's your parents. These are your elders. And I was taught to respect my elders. So when Mitch McConnell says something like, he's going to make sure that Barack Obama fails at everything that he do as president. Why would he say something like that? Have anybody ever really thought of that? Why anyone, especially a public official, especially a ranking politician who is very influential amongst the people in his constituents, why would he ever say that I'm going to make sure that this president fails at everything he do? Come on, y'all. You tell me what the hell you get at that. That a man could say that he is going to, he said he's going to do everything in his power. He's going to do everything in his power to make sure that Barack Obama fails as a president. What does that tell to the world? What does that say to the world? So who's really the betrayer? Who's really the backstabber? Who really is selling America out? When you could say, listen, people can say what they want to say about Donald Trump. Donald Trump never even said nothing like that. Donald Trump then said a lot of racist type stuff, foul stuff, but he never even said anything like that. One of the reasons being is because he once supported Barack Obama. That was his friend. Yeah, that was his friend. Look it up. These are facts. Fact check me. But when you have a Mitch McConnell, and I'm going somewhere with this because I'm going to Tucker Carlson. When you have a Mitch McConnell who says he's going to do everything in his power to make sure Barack Obama's presidency be a failure, that tells me that it's some deep-seated hatred there. It's some deep-seated hatred there. That he wants the president of the United States, and he says this to news media that's heard all around the world, from presidents from all other countries and leaders from all other countries. He said, I'm going to make sure Barack Obama's presidency be a failure. So that tells the people around the world that we don't even like our own. If you should want to come in here and want to buy up some stuff, if you should want to come in here and, God forbid, do something harmful, just a reminder, y'all. I know y'all remember hearing about a lot of threats made on Barack Obama's life. A lot of people that were able to get into the Capitol while Barack Obama was president. A lot of things happened while Barack Obama was president that endangered his life and the life of his family. A lot of things happened. A lot of things was allowed to happen. Allowed to happen. So now you're talking about this hatred, whether it's racial hatred or regular hatred, it doesn't matter. Hatred is hatred. And you talk about a Mitch McConnell who wants his own president of his United States to fail. In the face of leaders around the world, he wishes he failed. And these sentiments are echoed by people like Rush Limbaugh, who also had a large platform and millions of followers. And then you take people like Tucker Carlson. Y'all notice I didn't even add Trump in there. I ain't even add Trump in there because to me, this is just my opinion. Trump ain't even on the level. Trump ain't even on the level of the three individuals that I named. There's some more people, but I just named three. Trump ain't even on that level. Trump never once said out to the world that I want Barack Obama to be a failure, et cetera, et cetera. And you know why I think he never said something like that? Who became president after Obama? So this meant that there would be a transfer of power. This means that, because I remember Trump saying this. I remember Barack saying it first, that he didn't really understand the complexities of the presidency until he got in office. And I interpret that to mean that you never really know how the inside of the house look until you get on the inside and you hear the people talk and you're able to sit at meetings that you weren't able to sit at before. And you're able to talk to people whom you weren't able to talk to before. And you're able to get information that you never once had access to. The secrets. And so now you have President Trump who got in office, and he said something very similar about all of the things that he learned once he got in office. The stuff that he's seen, the stuff that he heard, the people that he came in contact with that he never even knew exist, information that he came in contact with that he never knew exist, secrets that he came in contact with that he never knew exist. Secrets held close to the breast of the White House. So now you have all of this hatred going on. People who don't want to see Barack Obama succeed. People who express this to other world leaders around the entire world, to news medias, that they don't want to see the United States president succeed. So in other words, they would rather the world see us as weak than to see a president succeed who is not from their party. Make that one make sense. They would rather see the world, United States, crumble and the world see us as weak than for the world to see them support their own president, although that president might not be of the same party. So, perception is the reality you present to the world. That's how the world perceives us, as weak. Because it's one thing to challenge one another for some political office or presidency or something like that. It's another thing to build your platform on hatred towards that person whom you think is your opponent. It's a whole nother thing to build your platform on hatred. So listen here, y'all. I'm going on here right quick. 1 second, y'all. Just give me 1 second. I'm still here. I'm still right here. I'm just typing something out on my computer. All right. I thank everybody for tuning in. Listen, this is some deep stuff that we going through, y'all. You know what I'm saying? When you see people, we already going through so many different challenges in this world today. Individually, collectively, culturally, spiritually, intellectually, socially, psychologically, hopefully. We already going through challenges. Why do we have to dig a deeper hole for ourselves with hating one another? I mean, I understand how it feels to hate, and I understand how it feels to hate someone else and be hated on. I understand it. I've been through it. I played both sides. But when we're talking about hatred to the world, expressing our hatred to the world for our own brother or sister, that takes it to a whole different level. You have, again, for those who are just tuning in, I'm going to tell you the topic today is Barack Obama and the rumors. There's a rumor out there right now, spooled by this criminal named Larry Sinclair, who did time in 3 different states for fraud, larceny, and some other crimes. This man went on Tucker Carlson's show. Tucker Carlson, who is a racist himself, whom did not want to see Barack Obama's presidency succeed, has from day one condemned Barack Obama, talked everything back, never said one good word about Barack Obama, never once said good word about anyone that has this type of skin tone. So we're talking about Tucker Carlson, who was fired from Fox News. Now he's on a new platform with a so-called better platform, rather, on a better show. And now he invites as his guest Larry Sinclair. Larry Sinclair has served time in 3 different states. He has a criminal history. He's a listen, y'all, pay attention, y'all. This man is a career criminal. And again, I'm one who served 28 years of my life in Michigan Department of Corrections as a convict. I truly believe in change. I give everyone an opportunity. I give everyone a second chance to change. But in the case of Larry Sinclair, we're not talking about somebody who changed. We're talking about somebody who's doing the same thing today that he did yesterday. This man's world has been fraught with criminal activity, scandal, etc. So now Larry Sinclair gets on Tucker Carlson's show, and Larry Sinclair tells this scandalous story about 1999. He was with Barack Obama, and they smoked crack cocaine and they had homosexual sex. Tucker Carlson invited him on that show. Why didn't he invite someone else on his show? Because Tucker Carlson's goal is to tear down the only image of the highest ranking Black official in the United States. That's his only goal, is to tear that image of that man down. Because Tucker Carlson can't stand that he has to explain this history to his children and grandchildren. The white supremacist ideology, he can't impose on his grandchildren so much. If they go to school and they open that history book, we already know they try to take Black history out of the books as it is, right? They're gonna take Black history out. They're already doing it, especially in Florida. They want to teach different. They want to teach that slaves benefited from slavery. All that nonsense. So you get people like Tucker Carlson who want to take the Black history out of the books. But the one thing that you can't take out of the book, Tucker Carlson, and those whom are like you can't take the numerical order of the presidency out the book. Barack Obama's face is going to be in that book, regardless if you take the Black history out of the book. It's going to be 1 through 46, 47. You're going to see those presidents lined up. And Barack Obama's smiling face is still going to be right there. So now, because he can't take this image out of the history book, the president, he can indoctrinate his children and his grandchildren with the ideology, with the racist ideology of slavery and things like that. And he could dress it up and all this type of stuff. He could take it out. He can refuse to tell them about it. All of that. But he will prove himself to be a lie and a man of no integrity if he tells them about they can be what they want to be, but he skips the story of Barack Obama. So, what does he do in return? He say, okay, since I can't defeat Barack Obama here, since I can't remove his face from the presidential history book, why don't I tarnish his image? Why don't I invite a person like Larry Sinclair on my new platform where I got millions of viewers? And why don't I let Larry Sinclair tell this Cocker Spaniel story that he was smoking crack with Barack Obama in 1999, and he and Barack Obama had homosexual sex. And I know y'all remember the Republicans when they had Barack Obama and Michelle. They had caricature images of them looking like monkeys. Y'all remember that? Apes or whatever. Y'all remember that? That's hatred. That's racist hatred. That is racist hatred. And nobody said anything. None of the Republicans stood up. Actually, they was laughing. None of the Republicans stood up to speak out against this racist attack on this American president. No one made this, no one stood up. No one stood up when these people from the other side of intelligence and the other side of humanity tried to allege that Michelle was a man. None of the Republicans stood up. Some of the Democrats didn't even stand up. Yeah. Some of the Democrats didn't even stand up. They acted like cowards too. When they was putting these rumors out. They was putting these rumors out, y'all. And now, let me see some, y'all. Let me see. And now, here we are today because the Republicans, collectively the Republicans and some of the cowardly Democrats didn't stand up for the office of presidency while Barack Obama was in office. They did not stand up for their own president. Barack Obama wasn't the president of few, he was the president of all. He wasn't my president, your president. He was our president. No different than Reagan. Reagan in the 80s. I disagree with a whole lot of stuff that he said. Bush, I disagree with a whole lot of stuff that he said and did. Clinton, I disagree with a whole lot of stuff that he did and said. But he was still our president. He was still our president. And I can agree to disagree with many things that he said, many things that he's done. But I still acknowledge him as president. Donald Trump, we know a lot of the stuff that he said. But to be honest, Donald Trump was probably the realest president because he just told you what was on his mind. Whether it was right or wrong, whether it was disrespectful or not, he just spoke his mind. And I would rather deal with someone who is going to speak their mind and tell me who they are than to deal with someone who's going to hide who they are. I'd rather deal with the enemy who shows his face than the friend who is really an enemy disguised as a friend. So, we're talking about how Tucker Carlson, he took everything Larry Sinclair said as true. Larry Sinclair history is fraught with criminal activity, scandal, stories, hypocrisy, deceit. Oh boy, criminal background. Sinclair has managed to thrust himself into the media spotlight. The allure of his explosive allegations has led to interviews, including one with former Fox News host Tucker Carlson. This high-profile attention raises questions about the veracity of his claims and the motivation behind them. Y'all hear me? Share my feed. Share my feed. We want to interact with you. I want to know what people think about this. I want to know what people think about Larry Sinclair, who has a criminal history that dates over decades, who still today, he been in prison 3 times, been in prison in 3 different states. So that means he went from state to state committing crime. And today, he's now spewing allegations out of his face that he smoked crack with Barack Obama in 1999, and that he and Barack Obama had homosexual sex at that time as well. That's the state that we live in today, where there's no holds barred. When a person hates you, like Tucker Carlson obviously hates Barack Obama, they will allow anything to be said about you and possibly even done to you. Case in point, Mitch McConnell said he wants and he's going to do everything in his power to see Barack Obama's presidency be a failure. And he was backed by several other politicians who stood at the podium and said this to the world. He said this to the world, y'all. These are facts. This is not me. This is all facts. Mitch McConnell told the world this. Rush Limbaugh spoke so ill of Barack Obama. Never had one good word to say about him. How is that? How is it that you could have a president of your country, the country that you live in, the country that you didn't even found? How is it that you could have such disdain, such hatred for someone who represents the whole of your country. You don't have enough integrity to represent those who do love this man, your family included. We don't have enough integrity to say, you know what, I'm not going, because grandma used to always say, if you ain't going to say nothing good, don't say nothing at all. We don't even have enough integrity to respect the person on behalf, even though we may dislike that person, respect that person on behalf of their brother, sister, aunt, uncle, cousin, friend that we do like. We don't even have enough respect for one another to do that. Enough integrity. So when you don't have respect or integrity and your thoughts are deep-seated in hatred, it's funny because right now I'm looking at this picture, right? I wish I could show y'all this picture. I'm looking at this picture. Let me see if I can show you. It's crazy that I'm looking at this picture. It's like this guy's looking at me. I'm gonna show y'all this picture just for 1 second. Y'all see that? That's Tucker Carlson right there. That's Tucker Carlson. And I got him on my computer right here. So it's like he's just sitting there looking at me. So I know y'all can't see it on Facebook, but I'm on TikTok over here. So I know y'all see Tucker Carlson right there. It's just, it just feel like he's looking at me, and disgusting individual, you know. So let me flip the camera back around, y'all. So it's crazy. It's crazy. The hatred stems from Baraka Obama winning the United States president. It shocked them all. And it's crazy because Alan just said it shocked them all. And it's crazy because how Tucker Carlson opened up his interview, that's what he talked about. He talked about Barack Obama was a nobody in 2004 when he was allowed to speak at the Democratic convention. Did nobody know him? That's what Tucker Carlson was saying, right? Then he said 4 years later, all of a sudden, he's picked as the nominee, as the Democratic nominee. So he went from being a virtual nobody, according to Tucker Carlson, and nobody seen him coming. Nobody seen him coming. No, I can't hear you, Alan. Let me check you again, man. I honestly cannot hear you. I don't know what the hell going on. Okay. Okay, let me see something. Alan, boom. Now, that's something on your end, because your mic is definitely on. It says can't turn the camera on because Alan doesn't have access to join with video. Oh, you don't have a video. But I should be able to hear you. Yeah, so I still can't hear you. But it's amazing to me, y'all, that it's amazing to me how much we hate one another, how much we dance in this hatred. The music in our ears is that type of music that causes us to hate one another. I don't care what type of music it is. And I'm not even talking about rhythm and blues type music. I'm talking about the thoughts in our mind, the poetry in our mind that transforms our thoughts into actions that display hatred. That's amazing to me. That's amazing to me. So it's amazing to me how easy it is for us to turn our backs on the very people that supposed to represent us or support us, or whom we supposed to support and represent. How is it that a person like a Tucker Carlson would even get favorable views for inviting somebody like Larry Sinclair on his show, when he knew that Larry Sinclair would throw dirt on our own president's name? A career criminal. And say, watch the company you keep. So if that's the company that Tucker Carlson keep, maybe that's why he's not with Fox anymore. And then tell y'all a real short story. When I got out of prison, I had news reporters following me around. They wanted to know my story. They wanted to follow me and see how I elevate myself and how I would do in society, make my transition. And so the news reporters followed me around for a couple of weeks when I passed out food and clothes, and they just followed me everywhere. I welcomed them into my life. And after I did the interview and I talked about how I am a community active, I'm trying to do what it takes to lift our community back up and bring us to a civilized form. I began getting donations from all around the United States. People would send me clothes from everywhere, literally send me clothes from everywhere. I received so much donations that I was surprised, because after 28 years in prison and just talking about these things in prison, I didn't know that it was going to be this easy to implement some of my plans. I didn't know. So now, after the news reporter put the news in the newspaper, and I was on the front page of Detroit Free Press, Detroit News, and I started receiving donations. The Ellen DeGeneres show contacted me, and one of her producers contacted me. I didn't think it was her. I thought it was a prank or something. I just heard of catfishing in prison. I didn't really know what it was. So I told the lady, I said, if you are really from Ellen DeGeneres show, prove it to me. And she said, well, I could Skype you. And I do remember being in prison that Ellen DeGeneres always was Skyping people. So this producer, I think her name was Stephanie, she Skyped me from the Ellen DeGeneres show. And she just wanted to let me know that they see the work that I'm doing in the community. She said, we just wanted you to know that we can see the work you do and we appreciate it. She said, I wish that we could get you on a show. She said, but to be honest with you, I'll speak around to see if we could do it. I'll see if we can get you on a show. She said, but if we can't, no problem. We just want you to know that we do appreciate you and we see your work. She said, but this is the producer, Stephanie, telling me this. She said, the truth of the matter is that it would be hard to sell to our elderly white women audience that here is a guy who was locked up for killing someone, and now look at him. He's out here helping people. And we know that there comes a time when people would kind of soften up to the idea to want to listen to people like me. It's obvious. But she told me that wasn't the time. So I never made it on the show. So they was going to try to put me on a digital show, on a social media platform too. I never made it there. For whatever reason, I didn't make it there. But my point is that here's a worldwide talk show, the Ellen DeGeneres Show, who reached out to me and told me the truth. They said, I don't think we're going to be able to get you on the show because, you know, what you was locked up for is going to be hard to sell to a group of old white women, which is her core audience. But here you have a Tucker Carlson who would have a career criminal on his show, and he will feed this career criminal's thoughts to the world around. That's no integrity. Because at least when the Ellen DeGeneres Show contacted me, they set up parameters of integrity. And they say, yeah, we want to do this. They even thought of ways that they could get me on another way. But here you're talking about someone who served 28 years in prison and who bettered himself, whom proved that I am an asset to society as opposed to a threat. I am a builder of community as opposed to a destructor. And now you take this guy, Larry Sinclair, whom Tucker Carlson so welcomely invited to his show. What does he add to our society? Or how does he tear down our society? He doesn't add anything to our society. Right now, again, for those who just joining, I'm talking about Barack Obama and the rumors surrounding him, which came from an interview on the Tucker Carlson show. Tucker Carlson is the former Fox News analyst who was fired from Fox. And he invited this man on his show named Larry Sinclair. Larry Sinclair has always rubbed elbows in the political field with people and people of prominence. He has always done this. Larry Sinclair has been in prison in 3 different states. Larry Sinclair is a career criminal. He's engaged in criminal activities involving theft, forgery, fraud, larceny, things like that. And so Larry Sinclair boldly alleged that Barack Obama not only purchased and smoked crack cocaine, but also engaged in uncompromised homosexual sex with him. That's what Larry Sinclair said. So now, we'll try it again. So now, we're at a place where we as a people have to stand up for one another. And again, I'm not saying it happened or didn't happen. I'm not saying that. Please don't mistake me. I'm not saying that it happened or didn't happen. What I'm saying is that when you are a public figure, you are a person of influence. There's no way possible that we should allow certain things to get out. Just based on us having integrity for who we are. But I want y'all to listen to something real quick. I want y'all to listen to something real quick. Let me see if I can get this. Here we go, y'all. Just listen. Can y'all hear this? Oh, I can hear you now, Alan. So you can't hear this in the background? Okay. Man, this is some deep stuff, man. But the crazy thing about it to me is that you would have such a prominent news reporter allow this stuff to be on his show. Yeah. Hey, you know, I just read something. It says Sinclair allegation against Obama paint a startling picture of events in 1999. But watch this. This part. This is real funny to me. It says Sinclair claims that he provided Barack Obama with $250 to purchase cocaine, and an alleged transaction that purportedly led to a sexual encounter between the two. So Barack Obama didn't have money to buy his own cocaine. And see, this is the type of stuff that unnerves me that public officials do. I'm surprised you can't hear the music. I'm not the music. This, hold on, I'm about to do this again. You can't hear this? Hold on one second. Yep. Can anybody else hear this that I'm playing in the background? If anybody else can hear this interview. Oh, okay. Let me see something. It should have came through. All right, yeah. But so, you know, it just unnerves me because here you have the first people to look like us in the White House, and what happens? You have the other side of people whom they sit up and make these allegations up, man, because they want to tarnish the image of us, because they know that he represents us, right? And again, I'm not saying he did or didn't do it. I'm not getting into that. I'm talking about the intent behind them trying to tear down his character. They want to tear down his character because they know that he represents the whole of the Asiatic nation. And that's the part that really unnerves me when you really just look at the totality of the situation, man. It's like they stop nowhere in order to get to what they're trying to do. They not willing. There is nothing that's going to stop them. As Mitch McConnell said, he's going to do everything in his power to make sure that Barack Obama's presidency is a failure. It backfired. But yeah, but yeah. And the thing is, let me see where I was. The thing is that, although I was trying to get back into my feed. The thing is that it's the intent behind it that I'm speaking about. It's the hatred, the foundation of hatred that I'm speaking about. How people could want to see such failure. That's deep, man. Listen. That's deep, man. It's a learned behavior, but at what point do we consider something too appalling to continue? At what point? Or do we have, or do we how? So you talking about falsehood flee. Right. Oh, you know I know. Absolutely. Right. And Larry Sinclair, man. Right. See, yeah, he's a joke for real. Yeah. See, the thing is that he speak of that stuff now. He speak of that stuff now because he been kicked off Fox, and Fox has always been Republican ran and sided with everything Republicans say. So now he's kicked off that. Now he want to speak about everything that's going on. You know, that's right. Right. And you're right, man, because and see, but remember what I said about what Donald Trump said about the Republican. If he run for president, he's going to run as a Republican. See, but he couldn't. Yeah, see, he couldn't. He couldn't win as a Democrat. He wasn't going to win the presidency or the nomination, rather. Right. Yeah. and but the thing is, man, is I'm not I have to say this. Trump is the most raw doggest president that I've ever seen. That's what I liked about him. He a raw dog, man, and I I may not agree with some of his policies, but I agree with his stance. You know what I'm saying? I like how he gonna stand up to whoever it is, other than Putin. He gonna stand up to whoever it is, and he gonna let them know exactly what's on his mind. Yeah, that's oh hell yeah. Yep. Yeah. Right. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, right. Because I'm see, I this I my show is based on opinion, right? This is just my opinion about the facts that I know, or the facts as I know them. Because we know that certain facts can change, you know. The generality of man is ignorant. But this is why I always add the caveat that all right. So this is why I add the caveat for those who listening when I say I'm not saying it's right or it's wrong. I'm telling you how I feel. I'm telling you how I feel. You know, for example, when I spoke about yesterday, day before, whatever day I spoke about the guy hitting the girl in the face with the brick. That's how I feel. You don't have to feel how I feel about it. But I'm telling you, based on the facts as I know them, you may have additional facts. But based on the facts as I know them, this is how I feel about it. This is how I would have operated and responded to this. You don't have to do that. But I have to, and on my show, I speak my opinion because it's my show. So I'm going to say what I want to say, right? Because it's my opinion. And I'm going to invite other people to say what they want to say because it's their opinion. So, like me and my friend Thomas Freeman, we don't agree on all type of, we really don't agree on that the girl getting hit in the face with the brick. We don't agree on a lot of stuff there. But I respect his opinion because maybe due to the way that he was brought up, he look at the mountain a little bit differently than me. He's standing on the other side of the mountain. I'm standing on this side. We still talking about the mountain. I'm just describing it as I see it, and he's describing it as he see it, and it differs. He's saying, no, man, it got 4 lumps on the side of it. I'm watching it. I'm looking at it. I said, brother, that mountain is smooth. But I'm describing it from where I see it from, my perspective. He described it from his perspective. So my show is based on opinions and perspectives. But I'm not going to allow someone such as Tucker Carlson did, allow someone just to come on the show to spew lies. You know what I'm saying? Spew lies or spin stories. Just anybody. Yeah. 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 Yep. It's a problem. Yep. See what I'm saying? Yeah. Man, this guy Sinclair, I was just looking at Sinclair. Man, he's a piece of work, man. This guy, it says right here, it say the South Carolina born fraudster Sinclair hired a room in Washington, D.C. press club in 2008 to tell his story. And in 2009, self-published a book entitled Barack Obama and Larry Sinclair, Cocaine, Sex, Lies, and Murder, right? He published a book in 2009 entitled Barack Obama and Larry Sinclair, Cocaine, Sex, Lies, and Murder. Sinclair's claims were given a new lease of life by the publication of a letter which Obama, then 21, wrote to his girlfriend, Alex McNear, in November 1982. So this guy then got access to certain things, and he's really using it to his advantage because he's trying to put himself back in the spotlight. And that's probably, it's a, in the letter, he wrote that he loves making love to men daily, but in the imagination, according to the, but in the imagination, according to the New York Post. This is a letter that Sinclair said Barack Obama authored, right? That says in the letter, he wrote that he loves making love to men daily, but in the imagination. Sinclair, yeah. See, this is, yeah, this is the kids and the language, man. Sinclair has a lengthy criminal history, including convictions on forgery, fraud, and larceny charges, and has served prison time in Arizona, Florida, and Colorado. Sinclair is used to spinning tales. That's what he's used to doing. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I'm just looking at this article, man. This guy is this guy is a very, very piece of work. And Tucker Carlson, as I said, is a piece of work for even even allowing this to take place on his show. Okay, it says viewers. Yeah, buy his book. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, the thing is that he's already been in prison in 3 different states for certain crimes like forgery, uh, larceny, fraud. Yeah. Yep. Oh yeah. Oh, believe me, I think they mounting up for him. That's right. See, that's crazy though, man. They let this guy. See, and see, I think they already mounting up because I know they ain't gonna tolerate this one. And then on top of that, I'm talking about, yeah, I definitely think. 'Cause I'm just looking at this guy, Larry Sinclair. Hold on, what was it? It said Sinclair once ran for mayor of the town Cocoa in Florida. See what I'm saying? He always ran in those circles. Yeah, it says, yeah, this is crazy. He asked Sinclair, Tucker Carlson, say, what was Obama like on crack? He said, I knew a lot of people who smoked it as I was in Miami in the late 80s when became popular, Sinclair said. Similar to a friend of mine in Miami, extremely high, calm, euphoric. Then, when it starts to come down, twitching and looking. Anything that looks white, you think is another piece you can smoke. Euphoric, talkative, but not really saying anything. Carlson added, so just like his presidency. See what I'm saying? I mean, yep, that's crazy, man. Yep, what time is it? Let me see. I got 2 minutes. I had 2 minutes, and because me and my man Thomas Freeman, we gonna delve back into some of this stuff because I want to hear Thomas Freeman's perspective because he tends to have a kind of different perspective that I don't agree with whatsoever. Uh, yeah, yeah. See, because that's why me and him gonna be on here later on because all the time, man. Hey, what are what you doing out there, man? And what they say about you coming over here? Yeah, they scandalous, boy. Right. That's crazy. You can They can make you do time in America. How they gonna charge you restitution and time in Michigan for real? Come on, man. Because once you have served time here in Michigan, wherever you served at in the United States, once you have served time and you've paid your taxes, keep in mind, when you was working in prison, you was paying taxes. Money was taken off your. So how could you possibly then say the guy's not a citizen, but you took all his money under United States tax code? Come on. Hey, but that's yeah, that's great. Hey man, 28 years, man. You know they made a lot of money, man. Hey, that's what they do. America is a capitalistic country. You know. Yes, it's very for real. Yep. Man, listen. Matter of fact, what time? I got a couple more. So check this out, man. Right now, we've been talking about. I got a show coming up. It's gonna be about this as well. Me and my friend Booker, we have a show. It's gonna be called "Let's Talk Decarceration." So we'll be talking about that. Me, my man Booker T, my man Marcus, Thomas Freeby gonna be on there. We're gonna invite a few other guests, probably a couple politicians, all that type of stuff. Because we just had a meeting with one of the city council members day before yesterday, me and Booker. And so, you know, they on board with a lot of stuff that I do. I kind of run in that circle now to where I can call up a few people, whatever. And so we're going to talk about some all the time. So we're going to talk about some decarceration, man. And we're going to take a different perspective. You know, I don't like the perspective that has been generated throughout society right now because first of all, they don't even speak about decarceration. Decarceration, when I speak of decarceration, I'm one of the head lead organizers for the decarceration campaign in Michigan for our organization, Michigan Liberation. And so decarceration to me means that we're trying to decarcerate people's mind, unincarcerate people's mind. Because, for example, you know how you can, say for instance, you get arrested and you call home and mom, dad, cousin, brother, somebody say, man, what you do now, right? That's because they are incarcerated too. So now they automatically stigmatize anybody who has been arrested or allegedly done something wrong. They automatically convict you until you can prove otherwise, right? So decarceration, innocent, right? So decarceration means, yeah, because we guilty to proven innocent. That's crazy. So we trying to unincarcerate minds, man, because once we can unincarcerate minds, we can get people to see what freedom really looks like. We can get people to see that freedom comes at a cost, but it don't hurt. We can get people to see that, but it don't hurt. And people tend to, because this is the argument right now, which was argument for juvenile life. We don't want to let them out. They're a threat to society. Y'all just think that if we resent them, y'all gonna let them out. The gates gonna open up. They gonna hurt people. Well, we want to incarcerate people's mind. For real. We got the lowest recidivism rate in the United States. Well, we got the lowest recidivism rate in the United States. That tells the story. And we got the highest success rate in the United States. That tells the story. So yeah. Fear mongering. Yep. And that's kind of the point that the campaign that we waging in Michigan right now, our decarceration campaign, because we truly, and speaking with city council and a few members there and a few state senators that I speak to, that's what we're looking at. We're looking at a different perspective. So, because you can't just tell somebody, walk up to somebody, y'all have a conversation, be like, man, you locked up. You can't talk to them like that, right? But you can tell them that they're locked up from a different angle, such as, when we lock ourselves into a certain a train of thinking, because I just used the word lock right there. So we locked ourselves into a certain train of thinking. We began to stigmatize people outside of the way we think. So if you don't think like I think, then this means that you're wrong, right? That's just how we think. If you don't think like I think, we feel that person is wrong. So now a person that commits a crime, and that person who does not think like that person who committed the crime, feel that man who committed the crime is just wrong. Don't know why, don't know what happened, don't know anything. You're wrong, right? Three sides to the story. Only thing that matters. So that's what our campaign is about, that we doing it when we start doing our Let's Talk Decarceration on our podcast, man. It's good. That's what it's about. It's trying to unincarcerate people's mind, but we want to hear everybody's opinion. We was just down with the city council, the chief of staff of city council that we was with. His perspective was totally different than ours. But he acknowledged it. He said, no, he said, because I look at it like this. And I said, I respect that. I said, that's why we need people like you at some of our listening sessions and meetings, because it's a lot of people who think like you. And I'm not saying that you're wrong for the way that you're thinking, right? Because we need that train of thought in our midst for us to kind of understand who we're dealing with. We need that audience member, because it's going to be, you represent a whole lot of other people. And so now our goal, everybody's goal, this side or that side, is to convince the other side to subscribe to the way that they think. That's the goal of either side. Well, my organization is the Great Minds Project 5.0. So my organization is to bring great minds together so we could ponder on ways to uplift our community, rebuild or build our community. That's what it's about. And the only way that we could rebuild our community is to tear down some of the stuff that's like the grass that's overgrowing in our community. That's the crime, overgrowing we have to start cutting that down a little bit, right? We ain't gonna never stop it, but we want to trim it down a little bit, right? And how do we trim that down? We trim that down by going into the community, speaking with some of these brothers and sisters who are out there, not necessarily committing a crime, but speaking to these community members, because the mother and father, they just be the mother and father to the child, but the child is doing. So we want to speak to the actual community and invite those who are in the street, so we could somehow, some way, start trimming the grass down. So now it's not so dangerous for the children to come out and play and not know what's in the grass. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of the goal that we got going on in Michigan with the Great Minds Project 5.0. And then I still have, with my nephew, we still have Good Heart Youth, the Great Minds Project. That's specifically dealing with the youth. The Great Minds Project 5.0 is dealing with bringing the politicians and a lot of the great minds together who have the power and influence to bring about the financial means and other things that it takes to rebuild our communities. So that's how that's going to happen. But I got to pull up out of here. I've been on here an hour and 40 minutes. Boy, I didn't talk my head off. I didn't talk my head off. So, you hear me? Oh, yeah. Absolutely, man. And then I'm gonna shoot you this invite when we if we do this other show today, I'm gonna shoot you an invite because I know I got to work later on, so I don't really know if I'm gonna do this one job at 6 or I'm gonna go to the other job at 9. But I'm gonna get with you there more. Peace and love. All right. I'm going to say peace and love to those within the sound of my voice. And for those who cannot hear the sound of my voice, I say pass along the message because someone needs to be inspired. Peace.